We've got a Fireplace fan here. It's been used for a couple of seasons and it was working until it wasn't. It's pretty stiff here. Now we've got a plug here, we can plug it in and it's humming, but nothing's happening. So we're going to take this apart and see if we can't find out what's wrong with it. On the back here we've got a couple of Phillips type screws. Take those out. I think we got a nut on the other side of this one. There we go. And that gets the bottom part off. I've already squirted this thing with penetrating oil. It hasn't done anything for it, but did make a mess on the bottom here. And these screws here are Torx bit screws, and we'll remove all of those. We can do the rest of those off camera. Okay, so those screws are out of there. We can remove this. And we're going to take these wires off if we can here, just so they don't get in the way. And it looks like these twist off. Well, that's not going to work, so we're going to have to stabilize the center section somehow. That should hold that. And now, which way do these twist off? Try putting a little bit of oil on there and see if that helps. I'm going to put a little penetrating oil on there so it'll move easier. There we go. Now that came off okay. So this is the left side. Mark it with an L, just so we don't get confused. Now the other one here, we're going to have to move this around because you need clearance to turn that end off. Counterclockwise, we got to turn to get this one off. Pardon me, that would be clockwise. We didn't put any oil on this side. Try again here. There we go. And that one comes off. And that's the right side by default. Now this is pretty stiff here. Let's see what we can do with that. So far what we've done, these bolts came out of this hole here. They go right through and the nut goes on the other end. I don't think it matters which way they go. It just holds these two aluminum pieces together. And these pieces will then move. We can back them off. And they have bearings in them. And it's kind of a swivel bearing. And what I'm doing here is putting some lubricant on there. This is penetrating oil. And just kind of working it around. That one feels looser already. That's really loosening those up. I think what we'll do with this is we'll blow some of this penetrating oil out of there now and see if we can't get some lithium grease into there, because the heat may not affect it as much if we use the lithium as opposed to the penetrating oil. Get some lithium on this side. Now we'll get some on the other side. Try to get it worked in there. Now this stuff is really loosening it up here. I think this is going to work just fine with a little bit more here. There we go. Now you can't get this apart any more than what it is, because these plastic drivers appear to be glued onto the ends of the shafts. And I think trying to pry those off is going to destroy them. And then we'd be stuck with the problem of having to make some more of those. So we'll try this, we'll put it back together, see if it's still moving as freely as it is here on the bench. And we'll plug it in and see if it goes. Okay, we've got the motor back together. Seems to turn freely. Looks like it might be okay here. I put the wires back on, and I have the wires connected to a couple of alligator clips, which in turn go over to this power bar. Now we'll just turn the switch on and see what happens. Nice and quiet, it's turning quite freely. Looks like all it needed was some good lubrication. Well, that went on a lot easier than it came off. It just goes in the big slot and you rotate it in. Make sure that this part is facing up. This blows your air up. And make sure that these electrical contacts are facing towards you, or would be the front of the fireplace. I've taken this other one out just so you can take a look at what the ends look like. It's just a piece of rubber that fits right onto these things here. And at the other end we just have a little spigot sticking out that goes into what looks like probably a nylon bushing, or yeah, and not just plain plastic. I'd say it's probably a Teflon bushing, and it seems to be turning quite easily on those little spigots that are sticking out, so I think we're just going to leave those alone and put it all back together. If you were listening to me when I said those electrical contacts go to the front, you shouldn't have been. And the tip-off for that is, if you get it at the front, those fans are going to turn backwards and you won't get any air coming out of here. So it's good to learn from someone else's mistakes, right? Make sure you put those contacts in the back where the blue wires go. And here we go. Nice, quiet, lots of air coming out, not seized up anymore. Hope this helps somebody out.